Rakan di bawah tadi bagi saya satu anekdot. So kita mula dengan anekdot ni. Orang mula dengan bacaan umul kitab. Boleh umul, bukan umul kitab. Okey. Katanya kawan saya yang bikin di Society sampaikan ada orang asli jual kita, orang asli juga dia masuk kedai kopi, kemudian dia tanyalah berapa harga cawan kopi. Dia tak tahu cerita dia. Okey, banyak yang tak tahu. So dia tanya togel kopi tu, berapa harga cawan kopi? Yang panas sehingga 30, yang sejuk sehingga 80. So dia nak yang panas tadi. Togel itu pun buatkan air yang panas, kopi panas. Oh, I'm sorry, it's in Malay, but since I've started the anecdote in Malay, I might as well continue in Malay. So dia tanya, yang bukan dia tidak sampai stage yang togel kedai kopi itu buatkan dia kopi panas, saat dia minta kopi panas. Sampai dia kopi itu, dia terus minum. Apa sebab? Orang tanya dia, kenapa cepat sangat minum? Kenapa?
Kalau sedih kena bayar duit.
Kalau kopi itu sejuk, dia takut bayar lebih. Dia minum yang panas. Tak ketawa pun. Okey. Kita ada sentuh semalam. Now we touch on this, the transient phase of function. Now we had the diagram. I'm not sure whether this. Okay. We had the diagram that is curvy. Okay. We was discussing under partitioning. The curvy part, where the slope is pretty heavy, that is the transient phase, and that is the place where you should be using Adams' method, the simple iteration. Okay, simple iteration. Whereas when it passes that transient state, it comes to the lateral kind of graph, curve. So that part is del F del Y is slowly varying. And that part is the best part for the BDF. So that under that circumstances comes the interval-wise partitioning. You come to the point of instability, you change the whole thing to state. But that's not novel enough. Okay? So in this discussion here, we look at Adams' method and BDF. Doesn't involve knowledge and storage of the Jacobian. If you use Adams' method, iteration far simpler. BDF involves knowledge and storage of the Jacobian, which is messy. In the parallel programming, that is work that is conducted by Zarina and Khairil of UITM, Zarina from the Department of Maths. They found that in the parallel programming that they do, 90% of the work was in calculating the Jacobian. There's many iterations of Jacobian update, okay? If we use VJM many iterations of Jacobian update. More accurate due to, if I items, more accurate due to higher order and smaller error coefficient. The Adams method is one, if you use the 3-step method, it is order 3. But if you use the Adams method, it's order 4, the BDF is order 3, the 3-step method. So Adams is one step higher. So the error is bound to be smaller than BDF. So that's why it's preferred. Better accuracy reflected by fewer step sizes. Now, we illustrate this with this example here. Okay? Have a look at the example while I have you look at the answer. Okay. We'll go to the solution part. This should be y dash, 10 to the power y minus 10 to the power 5y. Should be y dash. Okay. Now the other issue that I want, we'll go back to the transient later. The Jacobian evaluation. Now this is the expensive part. The calculation of A. Del F del Y is the Jacobian, okay? This is the matrix that need to be calculated. Now, minus alpha I delta ij is the step size term. The one that I said is gk minus 1. Gk minus 1, big G. This is the term. Delta ij is I is the when I is equal to j is equal to 1. So it is the diagonal element. Now, in most cases, del F del Y changes very little. As I've said, it changes very little. It is a step size term gk minus 1 big, gk minus 1, which is this. Okay. That needs updating. A full Jacobian evaluation. Now, here is the advice given by Curtis, who worked on this in the early 70s. A full Jacobian is done after 3 consecutive step failures. You don't do a full Jacobian, you do after 3 consecutive step failures. You can choose your own condition. You want 5, you want 3, you want 2. Okay. A full Jacobian is done 3 consecutive step failures, after 3 consecutive failures. If the problem is linear, then it's also taken advantage of. If it is linear, you don't have to calculate del F del Y anymore. You just do it once. Okay? Jacobian evaluation only once. A Jacobian is only also fully updated. It's fully updated if the current step size is h greater than 4h0. h0 is the step size when you first change the Jacobian. When you first change the Jacobian. So you have to keep track of that h0. When the current step size is greater than 4 times h0, you update the Jacobian. The step size when A was last updated, so you under those conditions you update. Now back to our table. Now this is, how do I now this is the curve. Okay, this is the point x1 where partitioning is done. Okay, so this is roughly about 4 times 10 to the minus 4. Can you see? I have enough handwriting, so you can read on. Don't worry. So this table gives the result for x, for the problem that I showed just now, x between 0 and this length, 4 times 10 to the minus 4, which is basically a very small interval, very small interval. But if you look at the result, what can you say? J is not what? J is 1 is 1. The method is J is not, J is 1. Adam, J is not is Adam, J is 1 BDF. So you integrate between 0 and the small interval, and you find that in terms of function evaluation, J is not 186, J is 1 to 233 for 12, 10 to the minus 3. Total step, J is 1 more. Can I safely say that the advantage lies with the Adams method? The Adams method. If you look at PU, PJU, PJU and FJU. PJU is a Sanjaya United. I work near that. So they have a football team, Sanjaya United. So there is partial Jacobian evaluation. Partial Jacobian evaluation. What is partial Jacobian evaluation? I know. Huh? So you smile. I'm not asking you to smile, I'm asking you to answer. You don't have to be make up after this, because it's already there. So, where are we? Yeah, PJU and FJU. PJU is partial, F is full. You don't have to do any partial or full Jacobian evaluation for Adams method. You don't have to do. Blank that. 12 partial Jacobian evaluation for the BGF method, and 1 full. 1 full. That's because it is a linear problem. Linear problem. So the updating, the 12 that is there on BGF is due to the updating of the step size function gk minus 1 over gk minus 1, 0. You see, that one you change. Only one term you change. Del F del Y will involve, we have a 20 by 20 matrix del F del Y. So 17, 1, 21, 1, 32, 1 for 10 minus 10. And the error, despite that advantage, the error is also more accurate, okay? The error is smaller. How can error be accurate? So that is why the necessity of evaluating the transient part with non-stiff methods. Now this is for j is to 1 over 0 to 100. What conclusion can you make? What conclusion can you make? The next table here, is solving with BDF method J is 1 from 0 to 100, what conclusion can you make? Tak ubah macam dulu juga, umur tak ubah macam dulu. Bila saya tanya, dia berubah pandang. Okay. The thing that you can say is the next table down there. For tolerance 10 to minus 3, the stiff function evaluation 40 in the region. Now in the region x from 0 to 4 times 10 to minus 4. There's no partial Jacobian evaluation. What does it mean there? 0, 1, 0, 1, for J is 1. This is integration from, should be from 0 to 100. Just trying to say this. If this is the right range here should be x is 0 to 100, because just now these numbers, the big partial evaluation on the top is 33, 27, 17, is from, this is from 0 to 100. Now, from 0 to 10 to the minus 4 for J is 1, it's I think something is here sepatutnya it should be this. From 10 to minus 4 to the n 100, the partial Jacobian evaluation is minimum because the del f del y doesn't change very much. So it should be this should be 0 to table from 0 to 100. It's part of it, isn't it? The table is both of the table incorporate from 0 to 100. So we know that it is J to 1 is the expansive thing, but despite that, from x is to 10 minus 4 up to 100, it's only 0, 1. 0, 1. Very minimal for BDF even. So all the work is lost in using BDF as a transient phase. Okay? Now, I finished. That is what it amounts to. So, can I, Amirul?
Yes.
Boleh saya pergi slide yang satu lagi? Ada apa-apa nak tanya ke? Saya tahu tak dia. This part, the second session begins now. Okay? We shall time it. Okay? Dia pekerjaan dia. Lagu berapa? Hah? Lamanya? Okay, full partition of ODEs, kita semalam kita buat video partitioning via graph theory. It was for non-stiff to stiff, non-stiff to stiff. Okay. Today we'll be touching on full partitioning. It could be from non-stiff to stiff or stiff to non-stiff. So the real part, since we have already touched, you have some idea of non-stiff to stiff, you have some idea. So the real value here, the value added here is from stiff to non-stiff. But it's a few lines, okay? A few lines. With which if we go just that, we'll be finishing in 5 minutes. So let me think of a story to tell. I'm not going to tell. Enough is enough. Okay. Now the content, introduction class ODEs, methods for solving ODEs, partitioning ODEs, motivation for partitioning that we have done, types of partitioning. Let's see what we have in store. Now, we have done this. Okay. Why we do partitioning? I think let's just recap some of the reasons. In the light system, not all of the equations are unstable. Not all the equations are unstable at x1. This is the diagram that we consider. Point x1 is the end of the transition and the beginning of the stiff phase. The stiff phase. Unstable at x1, possibly one or two equations. Possibly one or two equations. In fact, when we deal with the theory, we were looking for a cycle. We put in 4 or 5 equations in there in the cycle. We don't find them because, as I said, the instability is related to the eigenvalues. The eigenvalues. The eigenvalues, there will be 1 or 2 big ones. If it is complex, then you will drag 2 into the stiff system. Then comes the next phase of instability. If again at most you have 2. I have not been able to create where a non-linear problem where the instability goes to up to 3. It is possible, but it doesn't happen in practical circumstances. That doesn't happen. 1 to 1 to 1. So only change the 1 or 2 that are stiff. This is called dynamic wise or component wise or progressive partitioning. We have been using the 3 words. Someone asked me, where can we find yesterday's notes, or not notes, what do you call it, papers, to help us in looking through the partitioning via graph theory. This so far, according to Ali who has made the search for me, there's none that you can find. There's none that you can find. Okay? So, that's the reason why we call so many words there. Sometimes dynamic, which is not healthy actually. Dynamic, component-wise, and progressive. Progressive, the choice of putting the equation progressively in terms of the distance, okay? Component-wise, we do look at the instability component by component, equation by equation. Dynamic, the partitioning is done as you move along. So, all 3 seems to be relevant. If further attacks to instability occurs, then change the relevant equation system that we have. Okay. Now, strategy for dynamic partitioning. let the first W equation be non-stiff and S minus W equation stiff. Now, let the iterative equation be given by this. There should be another one there. Yt is equal to the I plus 1 iterate is equal to yi plus et I plus 1. If this is a non-stiff equation, then it should be y dash, because non-stiff we interpolate the f. Non-stiff interpolate the f. It should be y dash. This should be for stiff, the BDF. It doesn't matter about that, okay? The iterative equations is given by this. How we get it? Don't bother for the moment, okay? Don't bother. You have the equations, so you subtract, you get you subtract yi plus 1 minus yi, you will get in terms of this. Now, this is the important term as well. Gamma T over H. That's the important term. Now, 2B is a stiff formulation. The equations T from W plus 1, because 1 to W is a non-stiff. So that is the formula of relation between I plus 1 iterate and I iterate. Now, the second one is for stiff. You get that. So the only difference is the term gamma T over H, the step size term. Okay? That's the only difference there. Now, above, now this is the formulation for constant step size. Constant step size. So to make the explanation simple, if it is above constant step size formulation in VSVOC, what is VSVOC? Volunteer has anyone volunteer? VSVOC, variable step size, variable order component wise. Okay? If it is this is constant, then in VSOVOC, variable step size, this term here, gamma T over H, is replaced by the relevant step size formulation. It's the gk minus 1 over gk minus 1 norm. That is the variable order constant step size term. So we denote theta and t by this, by the del fm1 del yt times this, the ej term. A simple strategy. This is just to brush to the. But the strategy works. This strategy as well works. The only problem is that you tend to carry other equations that ask 2 ways. Why bother? You get the answer. Whether you use BDF or whether you use Adams method, you will get the answer. Except that one may be slightly more expensive. So this is a simple. Apa ni dah habis kan? Bukan tsunami, El Nino. Kita tak berhenti-berhenti saya punya hujan. So, if non-stiff, the teeth equation failed the error step. simple statement, if the equation considered is a non-stiff, the tip equation which is non-stiff, with the error test at low order, less or equal to 4, then find the corresponding perturbed term on the right. Finding the left term matching with the right term. And then change both to state. Change both to state. May not be right. May not be right, but you can still solve the problem using VDF. But it's not novel, okay? Not very novel. When it first come up, then it was novel. Now, then find the corresponding perturbed term on the right that has almost equal magnitude with ET. Say it is the mth equation. Change the mth equation to stiff. You can change the tip equation to stiff as well. Okay? Numerical illustration. Okay. You have to look at the paper to understand what this. This is the. This is a linear problem. Okay. This is a linear problem. Now, okay. You solve for x between 0 to 30. This is the two solution y1 and y2. Eigenvalues r1, r2. I think one is real and both are real. R1 and R2 are real. Now the maximum error for tolerance 10 minus 4, 2.6 times 10 minus 4. Now the first term here on the stiff subsystem, the first term there indicates the equation that fails. The first equation fails the error test. So you have a step failure at low order, and you this is the equation part. This is the equation that fails the error step. This is the equation that ends the skip. Okay. Now this is the step size. This is the step size. This is x. So this is the important one. And so on. Now this is the perturbed term. Comparison of the perturbed term. Now these two terms are almost or rather of the same order. Okay. If I fail, you don't have to joke, okay? You don't have to hear jokes. You can laugh your whole day. That's it. Okay? Now that is the perturbed term. That 1.25, 1 and 2.03. I think the next two is now on the right. I don't have the paper with me, so I just can guess. Here the perturbed term, then the first term again failed the error test. The second equation changed to stiff. And the perturbed term is 1.34 on the left, and on the right is 3.13. Almost of the same order. Okay? Now I just give one example, okay? If you want, you can have a look. See, there are 6 or 7 examples in the papers that was written with Simon. Around Simon. Now, constant set size combination for stiff system is this. Okay. Now this is the gamma T over X, as I said, is the step size term. In this one, there should be a negative then. Gamma T over X, call it mu T. Okay. And this is a term, the mu T is a term in X. When you have stiffness, when you have stiffness, this term gamma T over H is about the same as one of what the terms on the left, the E value, E hyphen 1, almost the same. So you note down that value. Gamma T over H is mu T. You note that value. Okay? But as H increases, this term gamma H increases, this term will become smaller and smaller. Smaller and smaller. Okay? Then the one change very little state position. So, but should there appears the transient. In other words, you have that part, and then suddenly here you have the transient again. Okay? The transient appears. If the transient appears, the step size becomes smaller again because accuracy now dominates. So the step size will become smaller. This will become larger back. Larger back. At the point when we have indicated as mu star. So the current term here we indicate as mu. So if mu is greater than mu star, you expect the transient occurring. And you find that the choice of the order of the method is 5 or 6. 5 or 6 because beyond 6 is unstable. So that's, if that happens, mu star is greater than mu t, you change to non-stiff. Isn't it simple? Yet potent. We make a conservative estimate of the test. You find the maximum of, match it with the maximum of del F, del Y, T for the T on the left. So you already have the algorithm there, okay? Now let us do one simple numerical example to validate the algorithm. This is the, again this is a linear problem with the initial condition. The exact solution is y1 to y2 sin x. This is non-stiff. 2 and 2 non-stiff, okay? Now, how do we test it? We start off with, this is non-stiff. We start as if it is stiff. Start with J1. Solve the problem, y1 dash, with non-stiff method, with stiff method. If our strategy is correct, then it will switch to non-stiff. It will switch to non-stiff. So this problem is initially treated as stiff system, even though the test problem is non-stiff. The abbreviations and next notations already used in the previous section will be used here. In addition, the following abbreviations will indicate the second iteration at n, the order of equation n, that's the symbol, the value of x, okay? And that's the notation. Now, integrating that, okay, or solving that rather, the order of them at the point x is equal to when you start off, you have equation 1, equation 2, the order is 2 at 0.0020. Next, at 0.0040, the order is 3. The order is increasing. At some point, you have order 5, both order 5. Then you already suspect that this problem, the transient has reappeared. Actually, it is a non-stiff problem. We solve by state problem. If it doesn't work, if our strategy works, it will switch automatically. Okay, dah. Huh? Kuncoro. He's my good friend. Very good man. Okay. At the point 0.008, we have the order 4. Okay. At the point, the next step, there's a step failure at equation 2. So we find the first one is the step size term, dk21 over gk20, the step size term. And that is equal to 7.4 times 10 to the minus 3. So thereabout. Del F2, E21, E1 is small. You can neglect that. Okay? You can neglect that. The next one also 0, so there's no match there. Oh, the one greater, okay? So the step size term here is greater than the one that's before that. What was it? This is term. This is step size term is far larger than 10 to the minus 8. So, in other words, we can switch to non-stiff. That's what our strategy was. So we changed that to non-stiff. Then subsequently, we have both equations non-stiff, okay? Subsequently, you integrate, you'll have first set at equation 1. At equation 1, at x is equal to 0.8, rather x, 0.02. The order is, the first equation has order 6. The second equation has order 5. That's still a high order. The step size term is 10 to the minus 5. Okay? The largest term is del F1, del Y2, 10 to the minus 6. Still small compared to the step size term. Therefore, equation 1 becomes non-stiff. Any question, this one?
Previously, when we try to solve the given equations, we put it in temper as the whole system, as a whole system. But now you are saying that we have to differentiate, and we have to separate the equation.
Yeah.
We have to, that it looks like we have to assign the first equation, we have to test, then each of the method is appropriate, then we go to the second equation, because now we solve it like it itself as one system equations. But it looks like now we have to separate each of it, is it?
The choice is if the equations must pass certain criteria. In the cases of non-state to state, the equations to be considered in a cycle must be less than or equal to 4. So, not many equations, as I've said, in a system of even 200 equations, there may be one or two that become state. So, you are indicated by the condition that we have said. The order must be low, state failure. So then you do the testing to pick up which. So that is not much. In one test you can determine equation length. And you say if 98 of the, or 198 of the 200 equations, only 2 will become state. So you, likewise here, indications of testing is if the equation takes higher order, 5 or 6, PDF. Yes, Farana.
I have a question. Can you show your previous slide? The value of the G1 here that you showed is equal to 6 in the right side.
The value of
G1 equal to 6 and G2 equal to 5.
then the minus 5.
Yeah. So may I know that this comes from the equations or it comes from the stability of the equation?
G1?
The value of this G, it comes from the stability of the equation or it comes from the equation? Because you have the capital G. Is this true? Okay.
No, this is the relationship that we have between the E's. So this is the step size term that we ask you to know, because when this varies, you will be looking at this and match it with the largest term here. If this is bigger, you will change to non-state. If it's state. If it's non-state, you remain non-state. Even if you have 200, don't worry, because code has made life easier. It will give you 2 or 3 equations that to check. So. Is it okay? Farana? Okay. Now, wonderful. Wonderful equation. This is an equation that occurs in many branches of science, including economics. And now the values of X stability is given by Z. Okay. Now this is there's some issues here. The perturbation terms are not given here, which I'm surprised. Now, if you look at equation 1, look at the equation change. J1, you start off with J1 to 0, J2 is to 1. And then when the time comes to test, now J1 is the equation to J2 is done by BDF because J is to 1. The equation 2 here. J1 is 0. And this is Adam's method. And this is BDF. Okay? BDF. The next test occurs at 17.89. J1 still remains 0. So the only one that changed here. These have become non-stiff. Likewise at another point, J1 remains 0. J2 becomes 1. Still again. So if you look at the graph of The wonderful equation is like that. Straight, then curvy, then straight, curvy. So that's where the changes occur. I think you have any questions? If no, anyone wants to give some jokes can come up right. Saya tak berani nak suruh umum.
There's a question from the example, as we can see that the middle part, equation 2, order 5, then suddenly in equation 2, the order has been reduced to 3, is it? Yeah.
When the step failure occurs, we always see. So this considered also we do the testing. But J, the first equation, still no change. The second equation, change to still.
Does it mean that there's a step failure there?
There's a step failure. Normally, even in the non-stiff case, when we change to non-stiff, we wait for a step failure. You can change without step failure, if the order is 6 to 5, you can change. That's probably better. It's quicker. Because seldom stiff problem goes 5 or 6 unless there's a transient reappears. Okay, yeah, Varna.
We need to have another criteria such as the order instead of our test to check to see if it's fail or it's good for this. So you say if it's more than, for example, order goes than 5 or 6, you have to stop it and then change it to this stick one, right?
I didn't say we have to stop it. In my case, I wait for the step failure. Yeah, I wait for the step failure. But if you want to 5 or 6, you want to change, you can, because at 5 and 6, the items which is still better than BDF. With order 5 or 6 BDF. So why not change? Again. Again.
I'm scared to ask questions.
Dia tak faham. Ani go, then. Boleh kan? Patut saya tunggu pengurusi kan?